All right, good afternoon, everyone. I think I see everybody except Mr. Howell. Does Mr. Howell need to be on for?
Oh, he is in the waiting room. He's working from home and didn't realize that his username is showing up as David and Lauren.
David and Lauren, I got it. All right. That's what I'm missing. All right, Mr. Howell, you had me with David and Lauren.
My wife changed it for church and it won't let me change it back for some reason.
You know, that's an important distinction there. If your wife changes it, then that's the way it's got to
Right.
be back. All right, we're ready to let our rest of our folks in for our pleas. I don't know that we have everybody yet, but let's see who we've got. All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Our police. So I'm going to call the case in order. We may have some folks who are either not here or who are held up for a few minutes, but we'll handle all the pleas for everyone that we have here today. Do we have Alex Arnold? Alex
Arnold.
Your Honor, I did speak with Mr. Arnold and submitted the plea paperwork. He advised that he did have the Zoom link and would be appearing.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're Mr. Arnold.
Yes.
All right.
My mic was on mute. I ain't know. I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right, Mr. Arnold. Let's go ahead with your plea. I will hear from the solicitor on the details.
Yes, Your Honor. This is case 17 CR 019698F. Mr. Arnold was charged with driving on a suspended revoked license and failure to signal improper turn signal with an offense date of November 23rd, 2015. Would you like more facts of the case, Your Honor?
No, that's not necessary.
Okay. The state's recommendation is 12 months probation to pay a $1,500 fine plus court costs. The balance shall suspend upon payment of the fine. And the state has submitted a null pros for the failure to signal improper signal charge.
So this looks like I'm seeing it on my paperwork as a no contest, a nolo plea. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Mr. Arnold, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you are pleading no contest today to driving while license suspended or revoked. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you understand that by entering this plea here today, you're giving up the right to a trial
Yes, sir.
and giving up the right to make the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, sir.
Now, in entering this plea, I understand that you have chosen to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And you have the right to an attorney and advice of an attorney before before entering a plea or before I consider your plea?
Yes.
All right. I'll accept your plea. The sentence is as recommended, which is probation to pay a $1,500 fine. How long do you think you'll need to make those payments?
I'll probably have it done in about 3 or 4 months.
So what I'm gonna do is, you understand if you're on probation, that there are probation fees that you'll need to pay while the fines, while you're working on paying the fine. I'm gonna waive the first 30 days of probation, to give you time to get started, but after that, you're gonna have probation fees every month.
Yes, sir. I thank you.
All right. So we have contact information for you, and probation is going to call you to set up how and in what form you report to probation. So, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, if you get strange calls, please don't ignore them. Don't let them just go to voicemail or block them, because then they may consider that a failure to report to probation, and then there could be bad consequences if you don't report.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. Now, do you have any questions for me before we let you go?
I don't.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Arnold. You're free to go.
All right. Thank you.
Go to position 2, Quintavious King.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. King.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Let's hear from the solicitor on the disposition in your case.
Yes, Your Honor, this is case 17 CR 025498F. Mr. King was charged with theft by taking for an incident that occurred on November 9th, 2017. The state's recommendation in this matter is credit for time served. He did spend about 2 days in our jail, balance suspended, and to stay away from the incident location, which is 2710 Topaz Road in Atlanta. There has been no request for restitution.
All right, Mr. King, I have a few questions for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. King, you understand that you have the right to an attorney if you want one.
Yes, sir.
Make your plea, and with that understanding, you've chosen to represent yourself here today.
Yes, sir.
All right, and you are pleading guilty to theft by taking.
Yes, sir.
And you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the right to a trial.
Yes, sir.
I accept your plea. Sentence is time served, balance suspended. Unless you have any questions, you're free to go. This case is over.
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Take care. All right, let's go to position 3, William Knight.
I represent Mr. Knight.
I'm
and
here, sir.
Present.
I'm
on
sorry.
All right. All right, let's hear from the solicitor on that disposition.
Yes, Your Honor. This is case number 19 CR 353F. And the defendant is pleading guilty to willful obstruction of law enforcement officers misdemeanor. The state's recommendation is 12 months served, 10 days, credit for time served, 10 days with the balance probated, and a $500 fine.
Bronstein, is that your understanding of the terms?
Yes, Your Honor. We were just going to ask the court to consider terminating the balance of probation upon successful completion. And it's our understanding that he is pleading just to the obstruction and that the other charges will be null crossed.
I have a null cross here, and I have some. All right. Well, Mr. Knight, I have a few questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Knight, you're being represented here today by Attorney Bronstein, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with her services?
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions you have or anything else you need to discuss with Ms. Bronstein before I consider your plea?
No, sir.
Right. And today you're pleading guilty to obstruction of law enforcement officer. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. You understand, but by pleading guilty to this charge, you're giving up the right to a trial.
Yes, sir.
And you understand by pleading guilty to this charge, you're giving up the right to have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, sir.
Now, there is a plea statement. I don't know that you can, how clearly you can see that. There's a plea statement
Okay.
you filled out in connection with your plea. Have you reviewed a plea statement?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you authorize your counsel to sign that plea statement on your behalf. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about that plea statement that you signed?
No, sir.
All right, very good. Sir, I accept your plea. The sentence is as agreed. Once all fines have been paid, probation will terminate. We'll waive the first 60 days of probation fees to get you time to gather the fund, but understand that after that 60 days, there will be probation supervision fees that will accrue every month in addition to the leftover fine.
Okay.
And we have contact information for you, which is going to be sent to probation. So probation is going to reach out to you. It may be by mail, it may be by phone. So until you're in touch with probation, don't ignore the strange calls that you get on your phone. If you get strange, hear from a strange number, you don't have to answer them until at least you've connected to probation.
Okay.
All right, because the failure to respond could be a violation of your probation. We don't want anything strange to happen in the meantime.
Okay.
All right, do you have any questions for me before we let you go?
How soon can I pay the fine?
You can pay the fine as soon as, as soon as your first report. I think there may also be a way, I'm not sure of how it would work functionally to come to the courthouse and pay.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Judge Richardson.
All right, thank you, Mr. Knight, you're free to go.
All right. Thank you.
Right. Have position for Denisha Harris, which is a null pros. Do we have Denisha Harris on the line?
No, Judge, with the null process, I did not ask her to come.
Find that null pros.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, I'll just put on the record that Denisha did complete our diversion program, and that's what resulted in the null pros, Your Honor.
Very good. All right, and I have Roderick Bailey, which is going to be reset. And next I have Delina Gwynn.
Yes, Your Honor. Attorney Gabe Winters here, and Ms. Wynn is on the line.
Hi.
Good afternoon, counsel and Ms. Gwynn. All right, let's hear from the solicitor on the details of the plea.
Yes, Your Honor. This is case number 20 CR 002-907F. Delina Nguyen, and the defendant is pleading guilty to DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Following too closely is dismissed, and the state's recommendation is 12 months, 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, $300 fine, 40 hours community service, alcohol drug evaluation and treatment, risk reduction, random screens, and a victim impact panel.
Counsel, is that your understanding of the term?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else that you wish to add before I speak to Ms. Quinn?
Yes, Your Honor. On behalf of Ms. Nguyen, this is her first lifetime arrest, not just first lifetime DUI, first time ever getting in trouble. She has completed the DUI school and the clinical evaluation. She just has a community service and the victim impact panel remaining. We would ask that two things. One, that she be allowed to have the limited permit affidavit, which we filled out and submitted to your office. And secondly, that she be allowed to go non-report on probation once she completes all her special terms, special conditions.
All right, those requests are granted. All right, Ms. Quinn, I have a few questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Quinn, you're being represented by Attorney Winters here today. Are you satisfied with his services?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that you wish to discuss with him about this case or your plea before I consider your plea?
No, sir.
Right. And you are pleading guilty to the charge of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that by pleading guilty to that charge, you're giving up the right to a trial.
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you're giving up the right to make the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, sir.
So the recommended sentence is that you serve on probation, and there are a number of requirements of probation that you're going to have to satisfy. Have those requirements been explained to you?
Yes, sir.
And it sounds like you understand, and it sounds like you're already at work on completing some of those. You've completed some of those requirements and are at work on completing the rest of them, which is excellent. Just need to let you know that if for some reason you decide I just don't want to do it anymore and just don't complete the rest of the requirements, I could theoretically revoke your probation and send you to jail.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that won't happen, but I just want you to be aware. I accept your plea. The sentence is as recommended. Once all conditions are verified, completed by probation, probation will go to non-reporting status. I have signed the affidavit for driving privileges. And Lynn, you probably heard what I said to a couple of the other folks here today. Just be on the lookout for contact from probation. Make sure that you answer those strange numbers until you're connected with them and you understand how and when you are to report, that we don't have any potential violation. I expect that you'll be through this before you know it.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have any more questions?
No, sir.
All right, you are free to go. Thank you, Mr. Winters.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, will we receive that affidavit of first conviction later today or probably tomorrow or?
It'll be placed in the mail.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to position 7, Gilbert Hughey.
Yes.
Right. Afternoon, Mr. Hughey. Let's hear from the solicitor regarding the terms of your plea today.
Yes, Your Honor. This is case number 20 CR 003-009F. It's my understanding that the defendant is pleading nolo to simple battery. And the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, the balance probated, 8-week anger management course, and no contact with the victim, Christian Godinez. And I did have some last minute communication with Mr. Hughey. I'm not 100% sure if he wants to still take the plea or not, but I'll let him make that announcement for you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hughey, are you having some second thoughts about whether you want to enter a plea in this case?
No, sir, I don't have any.
All right. Okay, Mr. Hughey, you understand that, you know, you're entitled to an attorney, to get your own attorney or have one appointed. If you think you need legal advice before you enter your plea, you're entitled to it. But you're also entitled to represent yourself and go forward. So do you want to represent yourself and go forward with this plea today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Hughey, you understand by entering a plea here today, you're giving up the right to a trial by jury and the right to have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes, sir.
And according to the terms here that are being requested by the solicitor, if I accept your plea, the sentence will be that you'll be to serve your sentence on probation, and you'll have to complete 8 weeks of anger management course. You understand?
Yes, sir. That's fine. That's fine with me.
All right. You understand that if you don't report to probation as directed and you don't complete that course, that I could revoke your probation and send you to jail.
Yes, sir. I understand.
And
And Your Honor, the probation can be terminated upon completion of the 8-week anger management.
all right, that's what we will do. So you are pleading guilty to simple battery, is that right?
Yes.
All right, I accept your plea. The sentence is as negotiated. Credit for time served, balance of your sentence to be served on probation on condition that you complete 8 weeks of anger management classes and have no further contact with Christian Rodinez. So you understand that if you have that contact, that you could be arrested and sent to jail.
Yes, sir. I'm aware.
All right. So you may have heard me talking to some of the other folks that, you know, probation is going to be reaching out to you. They may reach out to you by phone, so please be sure and answer any strange calls you have until you're in touch with probation and you understand when and how to report. But probation will terminate once you've completed the classes.
Yes, sir.
You have any questions for me before we let you go?
No, sir. I don't have any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hughey. You're free to go.
All right.
Right, I've got Brian Hammond, but I don't have anything here for Mr. Hammond. Did he?
Yes, Your Honor. I did have communication with Mr. Hammond. I sent him over the plea paperwork. So he was aware of today's hearing. I spoke with him yesterday. He said he was going to send me the paperwork, but I haven't received anything. And I'm not sure why he's not on the Zoom today, Your Honor.
All right. Then last I have Janasia Arnold.
Hi, hold on one second.
All right.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Ms. Arnold. We're ready to talk about your plea, so let's hear from the solicitor regarding terms.
Yes, Your Honor. This is case number 20 CR 004-177F, Janasia Arnold. The defendant is pleading, I believe she was pleading guilty to simple battery, family violence. The state's recommendation is 12 months, 48 hours. 12 months to serve 48 hours, credit for time served 48 hours with the balance probated. The domestic violence intervention program and no contact with the victim, Miracle Denson.
All right, Ms. Arnold, I have a few questions for you. Ms. Arnold, do you understand you have the right to hire an attorney or have one appointed if you are indigent? You wish to represent yourself today?
Yes.
Today, you are pleading guilty to the charge of simple battery, family violence. Is that right?
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty to that charge, you're giving up the right to a trial by jury or by me.
Correct. Yes.
All right. So according to these terms, you're going to serve your sentence on probation. And a condition of being able to serve your sentence on probation is that you complete domestic violence intervention program. You understand what that entails?
Not really.
Is that a 16-week or an 8-week, Ms. Salette?
Is it is there an 8-week one?
I don't remember the duration.
I think it's 12 weeks.
12 weeks?
But if there is an 8-week one, I don't have an objection to an 8-week one. I just don't recall
Yeah,
hearing.
usually DVIP is 24 weeks.
Okay, that's what I thought. There was just like one. So yeah, it's a 24-week program.
So I have to go inside.
They're doing it virtual right now.
Okay. For 2 years.
24 weeks.
Okay.
So
Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought it was months. I was like, what? Okay, thank you.
it's going to be 6 months of classes.
Okay.
On a weekly basis.
And then after that, the case, everything's closed out.
That's correct.
So it's open until I complete the program, right?
That's correct. And they have requirements in these programs about missing too many days. So if you have too many absences from the class, then you have to start over from the beginning. You don't want to do that.
Right.
And
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once this is finished, is there a possibility to like get it expunged off my record? Being that it's like my first offense.
Well, there are circumstances in which you can qualify for first offender status. Have you had those discussions with Ms. Salette about possibly first offender status?
No, I don't think so.
No, Your Honor, she never really asked me about that, so I did not explain first offender to her or anything like that.
Any reason?
Yeah, this is really messing with me because I'm trying to like get a job and everything. So I'm just trying to get all this over with. I can't really work, so I'm just trying to like move this on as fast as possible.
Ms. Salette, do you know any reason why she wouldn't qualify for first offender status?
Your Honor, I'm pretty sure that she qualifies. If you just give me 1 second, I can pull up her GCIC. That's correct, Your Honor. This is her only arrest. So she would qualify for first offender. But I'm not versed on explaining first offender to people and how it would affect them down the road. I don't know if one of the public defenders would be willing to explain that to her right now.
Ms. Bronstein or Mr. Howell, you'd be willing to have that conversation?
If the court wanted me to put me in a breakout room, or I could call Ms. Arnold, I could explain it to her.
You can remember if you want.
All right, I'm going to do a breakout room for
Okay.
it. And I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and assign you. Ms. Arnold, talk to your advocate. Not our victim advocate, our public defender. All right. Give them a few moments. I think this is our last plea on the calendar, so Ms. Dufford, I think you can be excused. Mr. Howell, I think you can be excused. I don't know if our victim advocate or Mr. Camp wants to still be on. You're welcome to be on, but y'all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good afternoon.
Your Honor, do you mind if I bring some medical paperwork over to your office?
I'm here. So feel free to come on down.
Okay, I'll be right there.
All right. We got Ms. Arnold and Ms. Bronstein back. Ms. Arnold, were you able to get your questions answered about the consequences of first offender treatment?
Yes. I say consequences, but yes, I do. Yes.
Or benefits? But you know, there are consequences because, you know, first offender means first. And so you understand there can be, you know, there down the line, you may not be able to use it again.
True.
So do you want to be considered under First Offender Act?
Please. And also I was wondering if I would be able to get the record restriction so I can be able to work, if possible.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
All right. So you are pleading, just so we're clear, you'll plead the simple battery family violence.
Yes.
And you understand the requirement for the domestic violence intervention program class.
Correct.
All right, so I accept your plea. Sentence is as recommended. You'll be on probation to complete domestic violence intervention program. Once all of those classes are finished, your probation will terminate. You may have heard when I mentioned to the others, probation is going to reach out to you. They may reach out to you by phone. Please make sure you answer strange numbers until you make contact with probation as to when and how to report. And just get those classes done and stay in touch with probation, and you'll be able to move on.
Okay, so that's who I talked to get in touch with the program, to sign up for the program.
Yes, probation will direct you from there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions you have before we let you go?
So I'm good. Like, are you gonna restrict it off my, or do I have to wait until the case is closed and everything?
But we're going to wait until once you've completed the requirements.
Okay.
That's when I get the paperwork from probation, and that resolves everything, and that will restrict the record.
And
Okay,
Your Honor.
thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Follett.
I just wasn't clear. I can't recall if I said this or not, but I don't have an objection to her probation being terminated upon completion of the DVIP.
Yes, it will terminate upon completion. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Arnold. You are free to go.
Thank you.
And that concludes our calendar for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank